Are you a DC fan or a Marvel fan? I am definitely a Marvel. I love this actor that plays Loki, Tom Hiddleston, since 2011 with Marvel. Pretty amazing, isn't it? Anyway, so now he'll have a show specific to this particular character. Let's take a look at the numerology for Tom Hiddleston. That actor! Yay! So, hi all, it's Lori from Numerology with Lori. Please like and subscribe at the bottom and click that bell icon drop down to all so that YouTube can't pick the videos that you decide that you want to watch. So, yeah, and also if you enjoy this numerology breakdown, remember I can do this for you too. So, with lots of insight. So, go to Lori Intuitive Numerologist, LORIINTUIVENUMEROLOGIST.com. Yep. And I will be happy to reach out to you and we can schedule a time that works for both of us. Okay, so let's talk about Tom's destiny number. So I'm going to show you real quick. I did a chart as we've come to expect. So this is Thomas William Hiddleston. That's what's on his birth certificate name. And I did things a little bit differently this time. I circled the vowels in red so that you can see a little bit better the numbers that make up the soul number. So yeah, his destiny is all the numbers added across. Interestingly enough, they added to a 13-4. So the 4 is his destiny number, which means that he is a hard worker. We know that about him. But in a past life, he used this time to let other people work for him. So he used his lifetime. So the truth of it is now is the it's a karmic number. We know that. Someone in a past life, somewhere in a past life, Tom took the easy way out, and we just talked about that. And rather than work for it, he let others work for him. This time around, he is he is destined to stay focused and to work hard. Luckily, he loves what he does, and we love him for it too. Yeah. So his soul number is a 10-1, which I find really fascinating. So let's take a look at that real quick. This is the numbers that have all been added up in the second row. So you can see where the soul number is, and you can see the numbers that added up to reach the 10 number at the end, and then the 10, 1 plus 0 equals 1. So we know he's a 1, but the good news is, and we don't want to ignore this because anytime that there's a 10 involved, you don't want to ignore that because it means that you have an opportunity to, it's good karma. So you have an opportunity. There's an opportunity for Tom in this particular time to fulfill his heart's desire and end the karma that is there in his destiny number. Okay, we have not done the other karmic lessons. That's something that maybe in a future video we'll talk about. Right now we're talking about Tom Hiddleston, but right now we do know that he has some karmic debt in that 13-4 number. So this is his opportunity to complete the debt uh, of the karmic debt he came into the life with. Yeah, into this life with. It's a strong, positive happening that he has this 10-1. And keep in mind, the year, the universal year is also 2026, which if you add 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 6, we've talked about this numerous times, it adds to 1. So it almost tells me that he needs to just pay attention this year because this is where he'll get even more opportunity to work harder and get rid of that debt. That's That's pretty amazing when you think about it. So yeah, so let's take a look at Tom's personality number. The personality is a number three. I don't know about you, but I've been noticing in a lot of the personalities that we are working with, that doing their numerology for, but a lot of the actors, we've been seeing the three. And the three is about communication, it's about joy of living. And to me, an actor portrays these traits for humankind, which I think is pretty interesting. And in this particular case, um, Tom Hiddleston, like being a Marvel character, we absolutely adore. I adore anyway, but I think that most people would adore what he does for humankind. He takes you to another realm of living, and even if it's just for an hour, you're there and you're literally in that place. That is a talent. Yeah. So this is typically a number that we see with the actors that we like. Very true. This number speaks to great communication skills, joy of living, and it is expressed. And we just talked about this, where we're in that hour, we're suspended, we suspend our disbelief, as well as an attraction to money. That's a good thing. It's a little bit harder for him to get there, at least based on some of the autobiographical stuff I've seen on Google. But he's definitely there now. So anyway, remember this number though is the way that others see him. Interesting. So there is a bit of truth to the number's energy, though. So that's something that we have to think about. So good for him. So let's continue to look. So now we're going to go look at his life path number. And his life path is here. So it's 6/9/1981, I think. Yep. And guess what it adds to? Adds to a three. Pretty fascinating. So I love seeing that his life path is a three. Again, that just adds more credence to what we were talking about with the personality number being a three. And sometimes we can look further into the core numbers um, or the pinnacle numbers to find a second repetition of the personality number. And that's kind of what we did here. Yeah. So this three gives us all the more reason to see the actor in him and understand his communication skills. Very true. It looks like he mostly uses a joy of living vibe, but occasionally he can display some anxiety. This looks to be true. I've seen this rear its ugly head in certain interviews, just slightly, just barely. But the three can be indicative of some anxiety. So that's the three, but likely he's learned some coping tools here, which makes perfect sense. It also makes sense because when you think about his childhood seems to have been very good. But we'll get further into that. So his maturity number is the seven. Let me show you that real quick on the chart. Here we go. His maturity number is a seven. So that we got by adding the three of the life path and the destiny number of four. We added those together and got the seven. Okay. So this is a number he grows into, and he's growing into it at about age 40 on. So, and he's there right now. So he's starting to get this idea of what the seven is. It sounds like he becomes more analytical and he uses research more for his career and his family. That's pretty interesting. It also is a number that shows that Tom is using his intuition more and trying to avoid the overthinking he may have been guilty of in the past. I think we're all guilty of overthinking, but the numbers indicate that it's possible he may have been an overthinker. It's very possible. So it feels like he's using a more positive approach to business and finances and success. Yep. So, how about his pinnacles and challenges? Let's take a look at those. Let's get those real quick. Here we go on his chart. Pinnacles on the top, and those are all derived from the formulas that we use at for his birth date. So we've gotten the pinnacles on the top row and the challenges on the bottom row. If anybody would like to take a screenshot of this chart, go right ahead because this includes his destiny number, as we talked about, his soul number, his personality number, his life path number, which is there in the black in the row here, the black row, and then the maturity number to the end of that, and then the pinnacles and challenges. So his first pinnacle, Tom's first pinnacle, is an 11, while his challenge is a number 7. This is an interesting combination. This would be from his birth until he was about age 33. The 11 is a master number, so let's not forget that. This pinnacle is tough for him because there is an element of spiritual creativity where the 7 challenge is it shows a little bit of a trust issue, especially for internal wisdom or spiritual activity. So he had to put that aside in order to get to his master 11. He may have worked it more. So, and we've talked about this before. Sometimes that master number is so difficult, especially for a young person. Okay, that you kind of work it at the 2 level. All right, because the 1 plus 1 equals 2. And the 2 level is about relationships. It's about cooperation, balance, harmony. Um, but as he got a little bit older into his 30s, I'm betting he started to work that master number a little bit more. Yep, I'm betting he did. So it seems like there was a really supportive family, even though his parents divorced when he was about 12, which is really good for him. I mean, not good that his parents divorced, but it was good for him that he had felt the support of everybody around him. He grew up more with his mother and his sisters than he did with his father, but he did get to see his father, but his father was a hard worker. And good experience and example for Tom. Really good example that he needed this lifetime. So this may have been his moment when he overcame the 7 and allowed his more spiritual nature to prevail when his parents got divorced. Because that would cause a young person at about age 12 to question things, to wonder like what's going on here. And that could have been where he overcame it somewhat. I mean, maybe not fully, but at least enough to allow some of the spiritual creativity of what was happening with that 11 to come forward. So that's his first pinnacle. The second pinnacle runs from about age 33 to age 42. So let's see, he's 44 now. So I would say that this is how he would have spent his second pinnacle. So the second pinnacle is a 1, where the challenge was an 8. So the first touch of fame was at in 2011, which is uh, where the first pinnacle, which it doesn't matter, but we can feel the changes, and it is a long-term change for him as we can see. So we could see in the second pinnacle that the changes that happened in Tom Hiddleston's life, he did so many TV shows and plays and movies, and he did so much, but because he believed in it. So it didn't matter to him necessarily whether there was money involved. Yes, of course, that was important. But what was more important is he wanted to hone his craft. He wanted to be the best he could be. That's where we saw that in that second pinnacle. So between the ages of 33 and 42, he really, really, really worked hard. And we know that the 13-4 was that karmic number in his destiny causing him, and he loved it. He it seems like he enjoyed it, which is wonderful. It's wonderful. So the one pinnacle really indicates a leader, new beginnings for Tom. Every time he picked a new role, it was a new beginning for him. Pretty amazing. Um, the eight challenge indicates a struggle with the achievement part of his life. And I got that more from researching because I wanted to see what exactly the eight challenge meant to somebody who had a one pinnacle. So this is where I found out. So maybe he's working harder to get where he needs to be. And we talked about that. We just talked about that. Luckily, he is from a very well-to-do family, but he wants to make his own way. I love that for him. I absolutely love that for him. So it's happening, but maybe slower than he wants, as indicated by the challenge number 8. Let's see. Okay. So, oh yeah. So I have written down here that in 2011, he had the breakthrough with the Marvel Loki. He started out in 2012. He was part of the Avengers movie, and that is when things started to change for him. You see, I mean, that's when I feel like he started to get noticed more. Even though he was always noticed, he was especially loved by his peers. That's where the majority of people in the world started to see him more, which I think is interesting. Don't you? Anyway, so the third pinnacle is a number 3. That's interesting. That's really fascinating. While the challenge is the 6. Okay. So this would have been around the age of 42, and he's in it right now. And this goes to about age 51. This pinnacle shows us he's coming into his own while being an actor and in his career. That's what's happening for Tom Hiddleston. We see that. We love the fact that A, he is noticed more, and B, that he is getting his own show with Marvel, Loki. I don't know how long that's going to last. And he's had wonderful success in Marvel, being kind of like a side actor, if you will, but as Loki, but he's done a fantastic job, and it's noticed by his fans that he is loved, and that's why Marvel came back and said, "Hey, why don't you do a show of your own?" Right? Okay. So he met. Before I get there, let's talk about the challenge. So the challenge is the 6, which is about family, love, and marriage. And he has dated, he's dated a lot. He dated Taylor Swift for a few months. I don't know what the deal was there. He is an old-fashioned kind of person. He believes that he's kind of like a feminist, if you will, he believes in women. He believes in women, which is a good sign. So with the 6th challenge, he's looking for the right kind of person. And he met and got engaged to Zoe Ashton in 2022. He got engaged in 2022, March of 2022. I think he met her, I didn't write this down. I think he met her in 2018, but I'm not quite sure. So don't quote me on that. So, and then they had a baby together also in 2022. I don't know that they're married now. I'm not sure that they are, but they care about each other. You can tell just by the way they are together. They've been very secretive. That was kind of Tom's way, which is why it's a kind of an unsure thing, like exactly when they started seeing each other. But they're not married yet. And but who knows? It could be soon. But that six on that in the challenge area means that for him the love and the marriage part of it and the relationship part of it has been a little bit of a challenge only because he wants to be secretive. That's tougher to do. It's tougher to do when you're in the limelight. Even though he has every right to. Don't get me wrong. And also, I don't know that he's ready to get married. I don't see that. But, you know, we'll see what happens with them. I promise you I will do an update if they get married soon. So the last pinnacle, or the fourth, is a three again. And the challenge is also a three. Well, that's interesting. So this goes from age 51 to 52 in that range, and it goes on forever until he passes, and we don't want to see Tom ever pass. So it seems like he doesn't have as much to do in front of the camera. That could be the three challenge. But he's pretty active behind the challenge or behind the camera, which is the Pinnacle 3. So his experience is unbelievable. Oh my gosh. Seriously, do yourself a favor and just Google Tom Hiddleston and see what his Wikipedia says about how many different plays and TV shows and movies he's been in. That's not Marvel. I mean, what was the one? The Night Manager. Oh my gosh, what a great show. And apparently, this was an homage to the Bond movies. How many of you think Tom Hiddleston should be the next James Bond? I do. I think he's great. Anyway, let me know in the comments your thoughts. So, Tom is a multifaceted actor, and we really love him. I do, anyway. So I'm looking forward to the Loki TV series, the Marvel TV series, and I really want to see what new things he does. I'll definitely be doing an update on this versatile actor, and we just talked about that. So thank you so much, and thank you so much for being with me. I really appreciate all you guys. Thanks.